Hello and welcome to another video. This week we have a very quick one, which I was hesitant about posting, but I ended up liking it. So here you go. First, I started using a template for a maze. I used this website called mazegenerator.com or something like that. It creates like a maze basically, and it provides you with different options to download it. You can have it as a PDF or as an SVG, which is the case here. I imported the SVG file into Blender and then I extruded it. Well, first of all, it imports as curves, so I have to convert it into a mesh, and then I extrude it and I applied a solidify modifier, and that's how I got the 3D maze very quickly. So once that's out of the way, I created a camera and I added one of those human figures that I use all the time to start blocking out the composition and getting the scale right. So here I was trying to block out a foreground using just a cube that I plan to sculpt after. But then I decided I wanted to just use one of those assets that I have in the asset browser. So first I started with the background. I used the ANT landscape to create a mountain and just put it in the background, scale it and cut it down since we will not be seeing it in the end. So then I imported the cliff using the asset browser, and the asset comes from the Quixel Megascans, I think. So now I had to basically nail down my composition. I wanted to have the character on the foreground standing on a cliff watching over the maze in the background. So first I started setting up my mist pass. I forgot I duplicated the maze a couple of times, or rather I instanced it a couple of times using Alt-D. So you don't see the end of the maze from the camera. And now I got into the lighting. I created a plane to which I added a noise modifier, a noise shader, and then I use it to mask the alpha of the plane. So I got the indication of some clouds. I created a cube, which then I assigned a volume material to it. So I got some fog, and my intention was to get some of those God rays coming from the sun, which in this case is just like a sun lamp. No Nishita sky, no physical atmosphere add-on. It's just like a regular sun lamp, and you will see me change the temperature of the light in a few seconds here. So next thing was to just like figure out the direction of the sun, to get the shadows and the pockets of light where I wanted it. This to create a little bit more of interest in the scene, because since it's just like a very simple scene, I had to create something or do something to make it a little bit more interesting. And the reason that I was like doubtful about publishing this or not is because at the beginning of it, it looks very boring. It looks boring like for 90% of the time of this video. It's me mostly figuring out some stuff, tweaking the lighting, tweaking the atmosphere, a little bit of the color grading, and many things just to convince myself that this will work out in the end. Sometimes you just have to trust the process, and you will see me that almost in the end, when I get into Photoshop, I am able to rescue this piece, doing the color grading and the overpainting, and then adding some clouds, which you can see in the thumbnail of the video. But yeah, I did spend a little bit of time playing with the lighting, finding the pockets of light where I wanted them. I maybe wanted a darker foreground, and then just somewhere in the midground to have some some focus with light, and this is the best that I could do for now and for the time frame that I gave myself to create this. So I started texturing the mountains in the background, which in the end you will end up not seeing any of it, but I didn't know that at this time. So I started playing also with the color of the volume, because depending on the color that you assign to it and the density, you can get different interaction of the local colors with the lighting and then with the fog. So you have to play a little bit with that to get it to the point where you want it. And here for the maze, I am going for a procedural material, the one that you will see me use all the time, which is basically just assign a texture. And at this point is, I don't know, this is like an asphalt texture or something. I think this is from textures.com. And then I created another principal BSDF. And then I assign a grass mossy texture to it, and then I am combining them with a mix shader, and then I will use another noise texture with a color ramp attached to it to combine where I want the grass to show through the asphalt or all the way around. So you can play with the settings of the noise texture with the roughness and the detail to create that appearance of kind of like moss. So yeah, everything went dark at this point because of the new shader, so I had to tweak my settings again. It's probably best to first get into texturing and then into lighting, but since this was just like a very simple scene, I thought it was probably easier to get the lighting looking good, and then the texturing will just like make it look better. So I tried to import some of those cloud models in here, which ended up making everything darker, so it wasn't working, and I decided to get rid of it, and then I will add that in the Photoshop part. So at this point I'm happy with the 3D part of it. I just want to replace that girl that I was using in the foreground as a scale reference with a more appropriate model, in this case of an astronaut, like again kind of discovering this maze planet or whatever. It's like just like a very generic thing to do, but it's more for an entertaining purpose rather than a design purpose or anything else. It's just like something that I like to do for fun, and something that you probably can do and make it look good very quickly as well if you want to try it at home too. So here I started rendering. This is the raw render out of Blender that I will be working with. I will render a mist pass, a direct lighting pass, and then in the end I will get an ID pass, which I get using the Workbench render engine. You just set that to random color, and then you just render that and turn on the anti-alias, and then you can import it into Photoshop, so you can create selections based on the color of it. In this case I ended up not using it as much, just for separating the foreground from the rest of the image. But it's always a good practice to render that, just in case you need it. If not, that's good. It doesn't take that much time, so everything goes. And here I started working out with the color grading. This is a very aggressive color grading, just because the raw render was very basic. So I had to do something quite interesting, quite heavy to make it look good. So I started combining the passes that I mentioned previously, adding some more mist, some more fog, trying to get some of the direct lighting pass into it, and then doing the trick that I've always used in this channel, which is create an overlay layer, paint dark to darken things, and paint with white to get some lighting boosts. So here I am trying to bring out those pockets of light. I started adding some atmosphere, some cloud in there, get the proper color with the color grading, and I gave some indications of the God rays that I wanted, but in the end I didn't end up getting from the volume scatter, so I used this brush that creates some of those God rays and then erase it a little bit, just give some hints of it, and then some more atmosphere in the background, painting with the cloud brush to get some more noise, some more detail in there. And yeah, I will be playing a little bit more with the values of it, just to bring out attention to where I want the viewer, in this case you, to see. I use the brush with some debris to create some more interest, some more atmosphere, some debris in the air floating around, a little bit of a light bloom, just to better improve the light direction of the scene. And then I wanted to add some more depth to the image, so I created another layer of clouds in front of the rock and refine a little bit the shape of the cloud with the same cloud brush. I started just erasing it a little bit, and then some final tweaks. Added some more clouds in the background, and this image is pretty much done. Actually, I ended up liking it quite enough. I think the color grading in the end is quite different to what I'm usually going for, which is nice to see. Finally, some noise on top on an overlay layer to give a little bit more of noise to the image, and then some extra texturing on the rock because it was looking very CG in the end. So just an overlay layer and it's done. So yeah, this was a quick one. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you next week with another video. Please like the video, subscribe, and bye bye. See you next week. Cheers, guys.